This video was made possible by EA Game Changers. Hey guys, and welcome to not yet another speed build, but the first of quite a few speed builds to come, because I got invited to Digital Sims Camp. I'm going to call it that. They didn't call it that, I'm just going to give it that label because I want it to sound more special. Okay, but yes, thank you very much EA for allowing me a super duper early beta access to the new expansion pack, Snowy Escapes, and it's a Japanese world, just in case you didn't know. You've been living under a rock somewhere, and so that means lots of Japanese builds. Whew. So I suppose I should start off with this one. There is going to be quite a few. I've done maybe 3 builds with my early access. Not maybe 3, I have done 3. So that's what I was going to do 3 builds, and I definitely want to do more once I actually have the game for myself. If you don't know the beta, like early access, this kind of Sims Camp thing that I'm going to brand it, it's a special build. It's almost like you're playing on a virtual machine. You're not really, but you just get access to this like super secret extra Sims game, and it's just like, you know, it doesn't have a front cover and everything, and you're like, ooh. So you can't have mods in it. So no mods. Well, I tried to install mods, like real true facts. You know, trying to install mods didn't work. You also don't have access to the gallery or anything like that, so you can't even save your lots into your library. That's the word. So this will be available once the game is out. I'm gonna take the save file and I'll be able to get access to my builds once I have this on early access. So by the time you guys have access to this expansion pack, this will be available for you. All 3 will be available up in the gallery, and then I'll also be doing another speed build when I finally get the game for myself. Warning, it will contain custom content because your girl needs it. Also, let's just get into what my feelings are about building. I am going to be honest, I have done 0 gameplay with this. Actually 0. I'm on a kind of restricted time frame trying to fit this in with my other work, so I've kind of given myself like a slot of time, so I have not explored any gameplay whatsoever. You know the regulars to go to for gameplay, that is not me. But when it comes to building, I'll give you my full brief. I haven't done a build by overview. I just think when it comes to those, I just feel like building and doing real builds is a little bit more helpful than build by overviews almost, because you don't know how good an item is until you have to use them all. So on this one, with these special builds, they only have base game and the Snowy Escapes expansion pack installed. So restricted pack build, some may say. Console players, I'm sure you're very happy at this point because you finally get to use some of my builds. There is no custom content, so you have at least 3 builds from me to use if you're on console. So you're welcome, I suppose. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it was I was a little bit on the struggle bus. This is actually the second build that I did, but I'm going to do this one, which is a residential, and it's more in the countryside area of the world. And then there's also the more city area, and I've done 2 builds in there. One's a commercial lot and one is another residential, but I thought we just sandwich the commercial lot between residential, so this is the first one I've decided to go with. It's also the one that I've included most of the footage of, like the entire process. You'll see me do the floor plan, which I normally cut out. You'll see me do wallpapers, which I normally cut out. So yeah, you basically get to see the whole entire build in this one. So There we go. Just in case you ever wanted that. Normally I do a build so big that I have to cut all of that stuff out, but this one was small enough to keep it all in. Did nearly lose my edited footage, not the actual raw footage of this, but luckily Premiere Pro saves it, so woohoo! Yeah, as I said, I was a little bit struggling with the fact that there was only base game and this EP. The first build I did was a commercial lot, and it's a row of shops, which is super duper cute idea, but you kind of want little bits of clutter from other packs, and I was really missing it. So doing this lot as the second lot that I built was actually kind of refreshing. I found this one way easier to do. So I would say for even, well, maybe it's just the idea that I picked, because I picked a row of shops. Maybe that was a little bit more difficult to do with a limited pack, but we still did it. Don't worry, it's all in the bag. It looks good and everything. But residential, definitely more easy. And then there's the other struggle, that is finding good reference material for Japanese houses. I think you already know me by now that I like to kind of do stuff a little bit true to life. So I wanted to get builds, and it's really difficult to find stuff on Pinterest. Like, even Google Street View, because the streets are so narrow, like in Kyoto, which I definitely think this world is inspired by Kyoto. That's my guess, because you have the mountain area, you've got the city area, you've got the more countryside area. It all fits Kyoto in my head. So I was, on Google Street View trying to find reference, but the streets were so narrow that I couldn't see all of that build. So that didn't really help. So this is actually based on a dollhouse, and I presume it was probably a tea house. The shape of it, it's not a regular house shape, so I'm going to presume this is a tea house. So my backstory is that this is a converted tea house, and that's why it's this cute and lovely and everything. So yeah, it's of course like the best of my builds. Has one bedroom and actually no candles. I'm sorry. It's base game, and there are no candles to use, but yeah, it was a little bit difficult to try and do the landscaping as well on this particular lot, because it's dusty AF, and it's like, yeah, I don't feel like I could really put back any green here because it's like a clear space. So yeah, just a little overview is that I also struggled a little bit because there are existing builds in this world, and they are not made by EA. They are made by fellow Sims builders and game changers. So Little Simsy, James Turner, Deligracy, and Simlissy, they all did builds. I think they did 3 builds each. At this point, I don't think it's really been officially announced what each person did, but it was fun to kind of go through and guess who did what build. I know there's a few of them were confirmed of who did them, but I'm pretty sure they did 3 builds each, and then there's 2 empty lots. There's one up in the mountains, which is a 50 by 50, which is empty, and then there's also an empty lot, which is a 20, is it 20 by 15 or is it 30 by 20? I think it's 20 by 15. That's also empty in this countryside area. So not this lot, but another lot is empty. And yeah, I felt a little bad pressing that bulldoze button, not gonna lie. So if you, when you get this pack, also feel bad about bulldozing existing like real people builds, just get your mouse, put it over the bulldoze button, cover your eyes with your other hand, and just click. Just do it, and it will be painless, and you won't see it disappear. Yeah, so I had to get over that fact of, I don't know, I just felt bad about bulldozing other people's lots. If it was EA lots, I'd be like, bulldoze. Psh. Also, you feel bad about having an opinion about whether or not you like the build, so I will reserve comment to be politically correct and not tell you any of my thoughts about the pre-existing builds in the world. Thank you, you're welcome. But yeah, I found the items in this pack are, I think, well made. I'm going to say they're well made. Their textures on them are good, all of that stuff. I don't know. I just feel like there was something missing. And you know when there's something missing and you can't quite put your finger on it? And I'm not too sure what it is. I think it's the fact that, of course, the main kind of focus of this pack is the whole snowy escape element. So they had to do objects for that. And for me, I could probably leave the snowy escape bit. I don't really require it. But for, you know, they always have to have a theme. So it kind of took away from maybe some of the other time that we would have to make more Japanese items. And personally, for me, I would just love a Japanese world. You could just give me a Japanese world. I don't really need the skiing and the snowboarding because I don't do gameplay. So but I'm so happy that we finally have an Asian world, and it was long overdue. I just like more non-American worlds. I'm here for it. I think we did a couple of videos ago. I was like, yep, I think it's going to be Asian. I was correct. Did I say Asian? No, I didn't say Asian. I said I think it's going to be a non-American one, which I think it's like when we ask for things, it takes a little while for it to come to fruition because they're so far ahead on the production timeline. But I'm happy with this one. I think all the items are made really well, but I just feel like there's something missing. For example, I feel like it's actually sacrilege that there's no kimono stand. If you're like me and you were like heavy on the Animal Crossing, that kimono stand is just divine in Animal Crossing, and I really, really wanted a Sims version, and there was no Sims version. But luckily, I have custom content for that. Thank you. But yeah, I would have loved like a kimono stand. I think I would have liked more Japanese objects rather than ski stuff, but I know they had to do a theme, so there's like this balancing act between having all the Japanese items to make the rest of the world look cute and also the items for the main gameplay feature. But yeah, also things like there's a tea storage chest and also a tea like dresser. So it says it's a safe tea deposit box, I think anyway, it's a play on the word tea. They have a box like I don't know, is it a safety deposit box? I have no idea on this one, but they have that, and then they have the dresser where lots of different teas are stored, and it's kind of like just decoration because there is no tea ceremony as far as I know. There isn't one. So it's kind of like these huge, massive items that for me don't seem to really have a purpose. Like I would have loved if they had like a little tea ceremony and stuff like that. Maybe they do. Maybe I have not done, as I said, I have not done any gameplay. So please don't hold me to this. Watch someone else for the whole thing. Maybe I just need to get my sim to sit down. And they introduced the low like dining. I forgot what it's called. It begins with a K. No, it's gone out of my head. But so they sit down on the ground now there's two different items. There's like a 6-seater and a 4-seater version of the low table, and your Sims sit under it. It's very true to what it would be in real life, but I would have loved a version of that where it was just a low table without the cloth so that your Sims feet don't disappear under. That's a kind of more modern version. I would have loved that alternative because I feel like the items that come with the pack are slightly more shifted towards modern. Also, there is just the regular Western bed, and I would have loved some kind of platform bed, or at least an attempt to make a bed that looks like a platform, even if it isn't lower than normal. I'm not gonna lie, when I was doing this, not particularly this house, but some of my other builds, I was kind of just missing my other packs. I just feel like it needs just one more pack. Just one more to make it brilliant. Not taking away from any of the items. I think they're great. I think they're made well. I think they look cute. I'm definitely thumbs up in the direction they went. Of course, we need to talk about the fact in this build as well that we have a new kitchen. Quite a few people were tagging me and saying it looks like the Jardine kitchen. I've got to say, it does look a little bit similar, but I don't think they copied. Okay, I don't think they ever copy, to be quite honest. But yeah, it is a pretty typical Japanese style kitchen, and I can see the similarities, but don't worry, I won't be suing them for copyright infringement. I don't even think I have a copyright, but yeah. So windows and doors as well that come with this. There is a lot for the shortest wall height, which I agree they should be for the shortest wall height, but there is a big old gap. I think the shoji there, I think they need to be a little bit taller. Yeah, but I think it's also that they fit in. There's a spandrel, and it's a super duper chunky thick spandrel. I think it's so it lines up and it's underneath that. But then again, you don't ever use a spandrel on a door together, so I wouldn't mind if there were different heights. But of course, the doors line up perfectly with the walls that are there, and it all fits in together perfectly. But yeah, I think the doors could just be a little bit taller for the shortest, and the medium, you're going to rarely use them, but there's only 2 doors. This is awesome warehouse one, which I need to use somewhere. It's a 4-tile huge wooden door for the medium wall height, and then there's, I think it's shoji, or is it a glass sliding door? I'm not too sure. I think it's only a 2-tile door, but yeah, there's those 2 for the medium. I just would have liked everything to have multiple options. There's one that's very similar to the dividers that we have in the bathroom pack, so it's slats. You'll also see that I used them outside on the balcony areas. It has that same detail. Oh, it's the door that's into the toilet, into the main area in here, has that same detail. But there's just one door, double door, that has it, and then that detail is not picked up on any of the windows. So yeah, I just feel it's a little bit incomplete, but at the same time, I'm not going to do an add-on set because, as I said, I have custom content already pre-existing for that. So I don't need to do it. I could be lazy and just you know. But yeah, here we are doing the downstairs, and I went with the whole light wood theme, and I think it looks spacious, airy. We're happy. Oh, totally forgot. Main feature, we now have platforms in the game, so you could do split leveling. I'm so excited. I was so excited. I was so hyped. I was like, okay, platforms, let's get it on. Platforms, there are so many options for what you want to color your platform. This is so much better than foundations. I'm surprised they didn't patch in the same swatches for the foundations as well, so that you could do both. But I think a lot of the time I'm going to be using platforms to fake foundations maybe sometimes, because there's just so much more customization possibilities of the platforms. I must say that we are on an early access build, so there's probably more bugs in it than there are going to be. You know, it's not the final version that you guys are going to get, so there's more bugs. But there's a little bit of an issue when you're trying to move items towards the edges of the platforms. Sometimes it just wants to sink down to the I don't know, calculated floor and not the top of the platform. It doesn't want to stick to that higher level. It kind of sinks down towards the edge. So I was using Alt a lot to try and get stuff to not stick to that lower level. But yeah, I think the platforms are heavenly. I'm gonna say it. As I said, there's so many trims. They're basically walls on the edge of the platform. You have a whole little extra area that has the trim colors for the platforms, and they have added all of the sidings that came with base game, all of the tiles that came with base game. So not even just one style of tile, like all of the tiles that came with base game, they are basically there for you to use. All of the plain paint colors are also an option for the platform, and also you don't get this weird darkness that you have with the foundations. The foundations are super duper dark in the game, but you don't have the problem with platforms. They're beautifully lit because they're meant to be used indoors. And yeah, just thumbs up to platforms. I'm curious to see how buggy the game is going to be. after this, but fingers crossed it's not going to be. But yeah, as I said, I haven't done any gameplay whatsoever. I've just been a building machine for the last couple of days to get these out. But yeah, we're on to the upstairs. So this, as I said, had one bedroom. It has one bathroom. I think I'm gonna wait to play test this until I have everything in my game. But yeah, so I'm excited to do more. As I said, it has been a bit of a struggle to try and find good like reference material. So there's this one that's more traditional. I haven't actually got to do a big build yet so that I can do the tatami and like the separate low seating. I really want to do that, so I'm gonna have to do like a big machiya. Also the lot sizes, 30 by 20 would be the lot size if you want to know. The world just has 30 by 20s galore and also 20 by 15s. That's the main sizes. There is no 40 by 30, which I think is one of my favorite lot size. If I want to do a kind of impressive looking build, I would pick a 40 by 30. I don't really like square lots, but we have a 50 by 50. We have 2 of them, and then a whole ton of 30 by 20s and 20 by 15s. So that's the only 3 sizes in this world are 50 by 50, 30 by 20 and 20 by 15. So you can get your builds prepared already if you just want to like dump them in there. You're good to go. Also, one thing is that in the mountain area it's constantly snowy, which is a pain in the butt for builders because you can't see you're doing the roofing properly. You also can't see you're doing terrain painting properly. So I would advise doing your builds in another world and then placing them in that world. I wouldn't advise building there because I'm wondering if when seasons come out, if you have it with seasons, maybe you can go in via build mode and there won't be snow, but I don't have seasons on that build, so there was always snow there. Even when you went directly from map view via build mode, there was still always snow. But anyway, yeah, this is the first build of many. In 2 days time there's gonna be another one. It'll be a commercial lot. It's the bar, spoiler, and it's a row of shops and it's super duper cute. I think it's one of my favorite builds from this series, and yeah, I'm just excited. Thank you very much again to EA, and now screenshots. I will see you all very, very soon. Bye guys.